Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Tony Mediata Real Estate Chef's page. I have Beau Cox from Nations Lending with me today, good friend and partner. We've done many deals together. I tell you what, this market is kind of crazy. I mean, not even just for us on the real estate side, but even for you guys on the lending side, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the refi business on top of new home purchases right now, it's just, I've never seen anything like it. I've been doing this 15 years and I've never seen a market like this. And it's crazy. Even through the mid 2000s when, you know, the crash was going on, it wasn't as crazy as this.
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts. So, like, working with Beau, it's crazy. I have buyers, and it's like, all right, hey, we're putting an offer in, right? So how do we get creative? We know that these offers that are being put in on these homes, on these asking prices, are going over $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. You know what I mean? Per home. I mean, which is nuts because you're getting into multiple offers and things of that nature. So, I mean, it's got to be difficult on the lending side going into those situations, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. You know, the thing is that when people come to get pre-approved for a mortgage, which I just got done telling Tony a few minutes ago before we got started, in a perfect world, people get pre-approved for a mortgage, and then we as mortgage professionals say, hey, go work with Tony or go work with this agent. Unfortunately, we're in a market, we're in an economy where people go to the real estate, buy a house. I want to go see this house. Can you show it to me? Yeah. And then Tony has to back up and say, hey, wait a second, did you get pre-approved? So to take things back, once people get pre-approved in this market, even though they may not be able to, want to spend a certain amount, they need to figure out what their max budget is because property values are skyrocketing and offers are going 20, 30, sometimes even higher than that over asking price. So, it's a tough market to be in. It's a really tough market for first-time home buyers. But if all the logistics are worked out beforehand, you could strategically still put in a good offer on a house.
Yeah, which I mean we have, and we've been fortunate enough to actually get to the table.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different loans. Like, I mean, in this market now, FHA loans even on an agent side, when you have multiple offers come in, your FHA loans kind of get pushed to the side, which kind of stinks for these buyers. But some of these buyers are taking an FHA loan because it's a better rate and they don't have to come out of pocket with as much money, right?
Right. That is true. We're starting to see the market shift more towards conventional financing as opposed to government-backed financing. And here's the reason why. As you know, with government-backed loans, just about all of them minus the VA loans, you have PMI or monthly mortgage insurance that's going to be collected on the payment. With conventional loans, most people think if I don't put 20% down, I'm going to need PMI. And that's not the case. That's not the market we're in anymore. I would say in the past 6 months of over 100 conventional loans that I've done, none of them have had PMI because they have what now is called lender paid PMI, which the lender basically pays the PMI, so it's not pushed to the borrower monthly.
Which actually that saves the borrower hundreds of dollars.
If you have, the reason people go FHA or government-backed financing is either two things: their credit score is low, or their assets that they have to put down they don't have. So that's tough in this market because houses going over asking, people need money, right? They need assets. They need to have money to put down on these properties. So it's a tough market to be in for government financing. So we need to strategically start looking at ways to do conventional loans with, 3% down, first-time home buyer, buying out the PMI, or, having lender paid PMI. And it just puts you in such a better position to put that offer in as a first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think that's there's a lot of strategic financing that has to be done on the mortgage side, and it's going to take asking the right questions, right? Having the right person, behind you to do the loan. Not necessarily me, but just anybody in general that knows the different options that are available, and just kind of working through that so that the agent, the mortgage person, and the client are all on the same page, and that's tough to do because in this market, things happen so fast, right? You get 5-10 offers. You list, you have an open house on Sunday, and by Monday you got 10 offers. So, if not, everybody's not talking on the same page, you're getting yourself in a bad position.
Yeah, and that's why I've always said communication is key. I mean, communication is key to success across the board with anything, but even more so in our industry. So that's why my go-to is Beau for sure, because I can call him at any time and say, hey, listen, I got a question. Hey, what about this? These guys want to put an offer in. Can we push it and stretch it that far? And then I can talk to him, and then he can talk to the client as well. So we have our full circle all the way together to make it and help simplify the whole process.
All right, absolutely. So just to back up a little bit, so I have 5 branches. My partners and I have 5 branches in the Mid-Atlantic region. Tony came to me recently, had a buyer or a seller in Middletown in Delaware here, and they were moving to Tennessee. And with working out the logistics of that, thankfully we're able to do the loan for the people in Tennessee, which is great.
And it worked out perfect for them.
I think 49 states that we can do in the continental U.S. New York is the only one we're struggling with right now with licensing. But I have the ability to do that across the country. So when you have that relationship, it makes things easier, as opposed to a client going to Tennessee and working with somebody they don't know or they don't have a relationship with. So, with a staff that I have, I always try to pick up the phone myself to handle the calls. Obviously, I have people that work for me, but, if there's a chance that I can do it myself and work with, clients, hey, listen, I'm all for it. So,
I mean, for me, it was great. I mean, they called me. I was able to list their house. But the big thing was, what's your plan? Okay, your house is going to sell lights out. So, I mean, her house sold in 24 hours, which was nuts.
Right.
But before that, I was like, you need to make sure you're qualified. You know what the hell you're looking for in Tennessee. They did have an agent down in Tennessee that they were working with. But they live in Delaware. So it was easier to build that relationship so they can do all the easy, hard stuff here and then finish down there.
Right. And we find that a lot, too, with obviously people relocating and retiring to Florida, South Carolina, states in the South, where the relationship is here, so it's easier for us to handle it, as opposed to going down there and working with somebody blindly. Also, too, just so you know, there is pushback there, obviously, especially with the client in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I got a call from the agent in Tennessee saying, hey, we don't work with any out-of-state people. Like, we need our people. So I had to reassure them, that everything was going to be fine, giving it was a VA loan and whatnot. But just, like I said, anything we can do to help put people in the best position as possible, we're here to do. Now,
what do you think about the rate that we're in today? I mean, it doesn't seem to be creeping up.
No, I mean, I'm not an economist by any measure. If I was, I wouldn't be sitting behind the table here. But, basically, for the next foreseeable future, this year anyway, I feel like rates are probably going to stay pretty much where they're at. Obviously, as the spring market comes, rates may fluctuate and go up a little bit, but
we're still at an ultimate low.
Literally, loans closing in the mid 2% range to 3%. I mean, it's unheard of. I was just telling some of the guys in my office yesterday, I'm pretty sure in 60% of my staff, 40 some people, have refinanced or purchased new homes in the past year, just ourselves, because we see it every day and we know obviously you can take advantage of it. So I think for the foreseeable future, the problem is going to be inventory, right? So having those houses available, inventory, and having qualified borrowers that are ready to pull the trigger right away. That's going to be the biggest obstacle for this year.
Yeah, I'm knocking on doors, calling, doing my mailers, just to kind of generate more in our local area, because I mean, it's
tight, right? So we're in a good spot where we're at. Obviously, we all live here for a reason in Delaware, and we have close proximity to different states and PA and Maryland and stuff like that. But in the big scheme of things, we're not in a big metropolitan area, right?
Yeah,
so that the inventory is low. I was talking to a client in Florida yesterday, and they went and put an offer in on a house, and there was only one other offer. Beautiful house. Couldn't believe there was only 2 offers on this property. But it's a little bit different of a market and different time frame. So everything works in checks and balances, and I think it'll all work out in the end as far as new clients and new borrowers coming along the pipeline. But I think, like I said, as long as all the due diligence is done up front,
and that's where the relationships come in. Right. I mean, the way the market is so crazy that if they're not on board with everything and know every different angle in the process for the loan as well as the market, us as a friendship and working together, it kind of makes that bond to where it's the best advice for the clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing, and I always encourage people, look, ask questions, right? You have to ask the right questions. If you don't know the right questions to ask, you need to talk to your real estate agent, talk to your lender. A lot of times people try to fall on, friends, and
sure.
I have people come to me, oh, well, Johnny down the street just closed 2%. Well, you don't know that Johnny only owes, $100,000 on his property versus it's worth $500,000 versus, so every situation's different. So as long as everybody's educated up front, I think, like I said, you can put your clients in the best position as possible to make a attractive offer.
And then for anybody that's watching, what is the basics that they would need to give to you to get their pre-approval started?
Right. So the big thing is nowadays in this economy, in this market, we have challenges with this with the older generation, but everything is online based, right?
Sure.
So I have a website, beauknowshomeloans.com, Beau knowshomeloans.com. So little shameless plug there, but you click on the link, you fill out the application. In the application, it asks you for the pay stubs, the W-2s, tax, things that are needed. But more importantly, it's just a matter of getting that application in play so that the credit is your number one factor. That's your number one driver, right? Making sure your scores are legit and, capable for you to purchase a home. Once the scores are worked out, it's just a matter of working out the debt to income ratio with your income, your employment, stuff like that. So, people try to wait till the last minute to get pre-approved, and then it's this, firestorm to try to get an offer on the table. So if you get the pre-approval out of the way, and people always say, well, how good's my pre-approval good for? Well, your pre-approval is good as long as you don't go open, buy a boat, buy a car, finance something else. As long as your credit is legit. And I think after 90 days, we have to pull a new credit report. So generally you have a 90-day window as long as nothing changes financially. But yeah, no, I mean, once
in
you
this
get that
market, in 90 days, you're already in the house.
Right, exactly. So, filling out that application is most important. Again, you can meet in person, obviously. Nowadays, we're doing Zoom calls with clients, right? Yeah. So a Zoom call, we use Microsoft Teams a lot. So we get Microsoft Teams, face-to-face meeting with people as opposed to,
more secure.
Sitting across the table from somebody. But yeah, no, it's, once you get that application out of the way, that's your biggest obstacle. And then it's just strategically figuring out what the best option is for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, there you have it. I mean, talking loans and market updates with Beau Cox. I tell you, friendships in this business are great because it takes it that much further for our clients. If it's my client or his client or our client together, the end result is to make sure that the satisfactory is there and the simplified fact. Because in any transaction that you have, real estate, the mortgage process is always the most challenging, separate from the multiple offer situation and getting your offer accepted. Once we get that offer accepted, going through the process, as long as you have all your things in line and you're able to get all that information together, it makes it pretty seamless. At the same time, we're here to help everybody. I mean, at the end goal is to see the smile on everybody's faces.
Yep, absolutely. And I try to tell, my staff, I can build a relationship with somebody and maybe I don't end up doing a loan and they decide to go with their local bank, which that happens, right? So they have relationships at their banks. Listen, I'm here. If things fall apart, call me. I will help try to pick up the pieces, or I'll help you try to get your loan closed with them. It's not about making sure that I get the business every time. It's about making sure at the end of the day, the client gets their goal of getting their new home. Like that's what's more important. And there's plenty of business to go around. Everybody has different lenders they use. And, obviously there's compliance measures to where several lenders have to be, giving their information out to certain clients. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's all about making sure that the clients, achieve that goal of home ownership and making sure it gets done the most proper and efficient way. So whatever we can do to help, we're here.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
It's always a pleasure. So until next time, I'd like to thank Beau for stepping in and sitting in and giving us all this great information. But until next time, Tony Mediato, your real estate chef. We saute deals. We'll see you the next time.